I'm Deborah Borchardt, and this is your midday market update. When we look at the indices, well, the NASDAQ is down, the S&P 500 also down, and now the Dow is down. It originally was in the green territory. We saw some buying following the non-farm payrolls that we got this morning. And joining me now is Peter Cardillo. He's the chief economist over at Rockwell. So, Peter, why did the market take a turn to go to the red now?
Well, I think there are two factors. Number one, we did hit record territory this morning on the opening after the non-farms report. But then, of course, you have to remember that the situation between Ukraine and Russia, although there's no threat of a breakout of war between Russia and Ukraine, there's certainly a threat of a Cold War increasing between Mr. Obama and Mr. Putin. In fact, there's been long conversations, and it appears that the press is indicating that those phone calls are not all that sweet. And so I think there's that fear out there, In fact, Europe was up this morning, and then it abruptly turned around just before we opened, and I think that was the reason. Also, Groupon actually stated that they might actually might shut down gas supplies to the Ukraine, and that's a problem for Europe as well. And the other factor is you had computer selling right after the opening. And so those two factors certainly weighed on the market. And let's not forget, we had a big leap in yields. The 10-year went over 280 this morning. So, sometimes good news, as the unemployment number was good news today, can actually have a reverse psychological effect on the market.
So let's talk about those non-farm payrolls just briefly. We did see the unemployment rate go up to 6.7%. And was that a result of all these people losing their unemployment benefits and now they were kind of forced to get into the labor force?
Yeah, in part it was, but basically if you look at the labor number today, it was pretty good. I mean, we had an increase of 175,000 jobs. And of course, we had the two back months, which were revised upwards. But I think what struck me was that this time around, if we look at all the employment sectors, they all were up. We had manufacturing up, we had construction jobs up, we had the service sector, obviously, which took the biggest leap, and so the only sector that didn't kick in was the government, which is not bad, So basically, it was a good report, and I think it just confirms that the past 2 months that it was the weather that impacted the numbers, and today's numbers point to an acceleration in jobs in the coming months.
All right, so Peter is liking this non-farm payrolls report, but the market is still very nervous about what's happening over in Ukraine and Russia, and that's why we're seeing the market starting to go sideways here. That's Peter Cardillo from Rockwell, and I'm Deborah Borchardt with The Street.